Welcome to the Star Wars Brothers podcast. I'm Cliff Boyd, and I'm here with John Boyd.
I'm here.
And Drew Shepard.
That's me.
How you guys doing?
Great.
It's been like a month since we recorded, but, we've obviously talked since then. So I guess y'all haven't talked, but I've talked to both of y'all.
John and I talk like every day, man.
Since that. Oh, okay. Okay, that's cool.
Not through text or anything. It's all telepathically, but.
Oh, okay. What's new, John?
So we've been camping.
Cool.
So we got a pop-up. I think I talked about that.
Yeah.
On a previous one. So we got a pop-up camper, and so we've been doing some camping, and we're going to do camping a couple more times this month. So maybe 3 more times, like almost every weekend this month we're camping. So yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah. How was camping in the pop-up with the 6 of y'all?
So it's not bad. It's got a queen, a full, and a twin bed.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And so in the 2 biggest beds are heated matters.
Whoa!
So that's
this
pretty
is
cool.
This is a fancy pop-up.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They actually plug in, and you really don't even need the heat running when you have those, unless it gets really cold. And so it's a lot of fun. The kids love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, living in Florida pretty much my whole life, I did not know heated mattresses were a thing until just now.
Yeah.
It was
in the 40s this weekend. So,
ooh, man,
at Fall Creek
May.
Falls State Park.
It's May and it's still in the 40s, man.
Yeah, at night it was.
I always forget how cold it gets so late in the year. Is this abnormally cold?
Yeah, it's a little abnormal. It's not normally this cold.
Okay.
It's this time of year, but
got to watch those carbon emissions.
That's right.
Gonna introduce another ice age or something. Who knows?
Something.
Drew,
So
what's going on?
We're just actually getting back. We just got back probably 10 minutes ago from going to Epcot. Went to the Flower and Garden Festival.
Right. Yeah, because we were wanting to have y'all over tonight and play some Final Fantasy VI, but turned us down for the mouse.
I'm sorry. We had made these plans a month ago, and we had partially actually forgot about it. But yeah, so we did that, and it was fun. Got to go around, try some different foods, and look at the different topiaries they have set up, which is always pretty cool. We were hoping to do
which festival is it again right now?
Flower and Garden.
Flower and Garden. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. We actually did get to go see the new France Pavilion opening, the section that they've just opened for the Ratatouille ride.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Have a Remy topiary this year, so it was kind of neat to do all that.
That's cool. John, so you know what Ratatouille is, right? The movie?
Yeah.
About the mouse that cooks.
Yep. Controls the guy on his head.
Yeah.
The ride that he's talking about is actually, I don't know how old it is, but it's not a new ride. It's one that they are actually taking from Disneyland Paris and moving to Epcot here. So, kind of give a new crowd that experience. Should be pretty cool. I've heard great things about the ride. I'm excited about going on it. I think you're like mouse size, and you're going through a kitchen, and there's huge food all around you, that sort of thing. So I believe it uses a lot of digital screens and sort of camera tricks and, perspective tricks to make it feel like you're really small. So it should be pretty cool.
Right. Some large objects in there. So you feel like,
John, have you been to Epcot before?
I have. Yep. Probably 6th grade was the last time I got to go to Epcot. So yeah, but I've been.
When's that family Disney trip where you're going to bring everybody down and stay with us and go to the parks with us?
I don't think I'm ever going to bring all the kids with me to Disney at one time. So
you will sometime. You got to sometime.
Maybe when they have kids.
Well, if not the kids, at least you need to come down, because we've got to build a lightsaber together. We've got to build a lightsaber together. Maybe when the Star Wars Hotel opens, we can do a guys' weekend at the Star Wars Hotel. So
maybe
my wife would kill me. So maybe a couple's weekend.
Yeah, that'll require some saving. I heard a price number on that.
Oh, I know. It's like
2.5
a Disney
days.
cruise price. Yeah.
They're like, it'll probably be 4 to 5. I was like, 100?
Do you know what they're doing though, John? Have you heard about it?
Yeah, I've kept up with it some. It's pretty awesome.
Where you're like, you have to be in character. I think they have like all the windows as they're not really windows, they're screens, and really kind of weird. There's part of that bothers me because there's no actual real outside windows, supposedly. They just make it feel like they're outside windows. So
yeah.
I don't know. I like having.
It's going to be the future of vacations. You'll just go.
Sure, just go to your vacation room.
Your hotel
in your
is programmed for. So,
right, exactly. Yeah.
Well, isn't that what in Spider-Man: Far From Home at the very end when Nick Fury was just like laying on the beach, and you're thinking he's somewhere on a tropical beach, and then it pans away and he's really in a spaceship. So
right, yeah. Okay, Drew, what snacks did you get at Epcot? I've got to know this.
All right.
Do they have special snacks for? So I know for a lot of the Epcot festivals, like food and wine, obviously, they've got all these pavilions set up and you can go and get food from all over the world. I love the Christmas one's probably my favorite. They do in December, they do a holiday version of that where you can go and get holiday treats for all the different, all the different countries' versions of those holiday treats. But what do they do for Flower and Garden? The cookie walk is fun. 5 cookies and you get one free or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's not worth it at all, but it's so much fun to do it still.
Yeah, I mean, the cookies are relatively inexpensive for Disney prices. They're like, what, maybe $3 each, $2 or $3 each?
Yeah, 3 to 4. Yeah. So the 3 different places that I went to tonight is a local one, an orange. It's, Florida oranges, sort of that themed. And I got lobster with like an orange drizzle on top of it. And there was avocado and palm heart mixed in there too. That was real good. Mm-hmm. Then we went to the festival center and got a salmon tartare with some little like mayonnaise aioli and some, I think it was dill weed put on top of that.
Okay.
That was real good. And then in Japan, of course I had good. It was a lobster and crab spicy ball that they had put on top of, I think it was cucumber and a little bit of horseradish on top. Or I should say wasabi, but so.
Okay. That sounds fancy.
Yeah, it was all good.
Are those special things they have for Flower and Garden right now?
Yeah, because when they're going, I think next month. Yeah, actually, I think next month or maybe July. They switch over already to food and wine. It's so early this year. It's so early this year.
Man,
but I also found out that
feels like that's really late most years.
Yeah, I mean, I'll double check, but even the Magic Kingdom, Not So Scary Halloween, it's not called it this year, but it's basically what it is. It starts in August this year, actually, too.
Crazy. That's wild.
They can make money, they'll do it.
That's right. Well, man, it's been so long. I feel like there's so many things I could talk about here. I think probably the biggest thing for me right now that I'm dealing with is I had COVID in December, and I didn't lose my sense of taste, but I did lose my sense of smell completely. My sense of smell has never completely returned. It's been really, really diminished, like, 20, 25% maybe. I really have to make an effort to smell things in order to be able to smell them. I could smell everything, or at least I thought. As far as I could tell, I could smell everything, but it was just weakened. And my taste has felt like it's weakened since I got over the illness as well. I didn't really get bad sick, as I've talked about, but that was really the main effect. So about a week ago, all of a sudden, maybe a week and a half ago, all of a sudden, everything that I ate started tasting like it was burning or something. And I noticed it when I was eating peanuts. I was eating nuts and there was just kind of a weird taste. And I was thinking, what is it? It almost tastes like these nuts are burnt. And then it ramped up and it got really bad for a day or two. And it literally just just tasted and smelled constantly like I had a mouthful of like 3-day-old food garbage. It was disgusting. Everything tasted like that. When I wasn't eating, stuff still kind of tasted like it. And so I started to realize there were certain things that were worse than others, and sort of only started eating those things that I knew were safe, just because I didn't want to taste garbage anymore. It's disgusting. The main thing I've been eating is raisins lately. Just tons of raisins, box after box of raisins, because they taste normal. And then the other thing I've been eating, so I try to like all foods, but I've never really loved peas. Like, I'll eat them if they're there. I'll have a bite or two if they're already on my plate, but I don't go for them. And I'd rather not have them on my plate in most cases. But they're one of the few things that like I can taste normally. So I've been eating like my entire meal. My main meal for the day will just be like an entire bag of microwave steamed frozen peas. I'll put a little salt and oil on them and eat those, and they taste normal. They taste actually pretty good relative to everything else. I've been experimenting and trying to figure out what I can eat that doesn't taste like trash. And tonight I discovered I can eat beans and eggs and maybe oats. I was a little unsure about the oats. The oats felt like they maybe had a little bit of a hint of that garbagey taste, but I've been eating really, really healthy the past few days, really just natural foods. And just because so much stuff just tastes terrible to me right now. And the worst part is this. So not tomorrow, but the next day on Saturday, Shauna and I are driving down to the Keys, and we're going to go on a week-long vacation down there with some friends. And part of what we were going to be doing on that vacation is going out to eat every day. Now I'm not going to enjoy it. It's unless this just goes away all of a sudden, which from what I've been reading, it doesn't sound like it's probably going to. Stuff's going to taste terrible on this trip. And I'm going to be eating canned beans, frozen peas, and raisins all week. That's what's for me.
So my wife, that actually happened to her.
Oh, did it? Okay.
The parosomnia or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And it was,
that's what they call it.
Yeah. So it was like everything smelled like body odor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like everything did.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't great. And then I read about other people who would constantly smell vomit and get really grossed out. And it's weird, but no, she had it. I think she's over it now, but it lasted a little while. I mean, she had COVID in November, and she just probably this month finally got over all that stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, the weird thing for me is that for the past few months, I've been able to eat anything, and it didn't taste like maybe exactly right. Like the taste was diminished, but I kind of just attributed that to the fact that I didn't have my sense of smell back, and they say smell and taste are connected. So I thought, eventually my smell hopefully will come back more and I'll be able to taste things better. But nothing has tasted bad until all of a sudden I had COVID in December. It's like 5 months ago.
Yeah. Same thing. I mean, it was, it probably lasted about a month. I think it started last month, and then.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. So she didn't have
same with her.
All right. I did read that it could be
a
part of your body relearning to smell.
Right.
Which maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing that I'm dealing with this, because it could be an indicator that my senses are about to return to a more normal state. So I sure hope so. Some stuff you read online, I mean, I think it happens differently with everybody. We actually go to church. I think I've mentioned her on this podcast before. We go to church with a girl who still can't really taste very well months and months later. And then we went out to eat with some friends. Jennifer from church, Drew, she has a garlic taste in her mouth while she eats everything right now. And so she doesn't really want to eat dessert because garlic doesn't go good with dessert, but she's great with pizza or Italian food or whatever. It's it goes good with that. So she only wants to eat things that garlic will go well with. So, and I told her, well, everything tastes like trash to me. She's like, man, I thought I had it bad, but trash doesn't go well with anything. So, it's weird. It's like the random tastes and smells that people have. It's almost like, those beans from the Harry Potter books, the like Birdie's every flavor beans.
Yeah.
And like some of them taste like blueberries and some of them taste like, buttered popcorn, maybe. I don't know if it's probably not buttered popcorn because they wouldn't do something so real as Jelly Bellies. The best Jelly Bellies are buttered popcorn Jelly Bellies. But then some of them taste like vomit and some of them taste like grass or something. And so it's almost like we have a Birdie's every flavor bean effect. Everybody gets a different taste. Jessica got body odor. I got trash. Jennifer got garlic. Others get vomit.
Yep.
Burning, it's just, what's your flavor? What's your COVID flavor? So pretty strange.
In the wheel.
Yeah.
So I talked to one of our listeners.
Okay.
Last week, and they said that this is actually their favorite part of the podcast.
Where we talk about nothing,
where we talk about stuff before they enjoy the Star Wars part as well, but they're like, hey, I really like listening to y'all talk about just what's going on. That's really entertaining. So
cool. Awesome.
Anyway,
John, what's your favorite flavor of Jelly Belly?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge Jelly Belly fan.
Okay.
I mean, I'll eat them, but
yeah. So if you had just a bowl full of Jelly Bellies in front of you,
I'd just go with something safe, like a blue one.
I mean, they're all pretty safe. Just the black ones you have to avoid.
Yeah.
As long as you don't get a black one, you're fine. The black ones, I always pick up a black one and I'm like, I really hope this is chocolate.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's either chocolate or licorice. And I don't like licorice. Drew, what's your favorite Jelly Belly flavor?
I can't even remember the last time I've had one. Maybe the
are y'all not Jelly Belly fans? Cherry?
I don't. What? Honestly, I truly cannot remember the last time I've had one.
Y'all need to go to a candy store and just get a little baggie of buttered popcorn Jelly Bellies, and toasted marshmallow Jelly Bellies too are also really good. So those are both great flavors. And just try them. And the buttered popcorn Jelly Bellies are incredible. So lemon drop Jelly Bellies
or mixed berry smoothie.
Are you reading a list of flavors right now?
He's Googling.
Oh, okay.
Sizzling cinnamon. I never knew they were so creative. I just called them like red and blue and green.
Yeah, no, Jelly Bellies are always like the most authentic tasting jelly bean, Do y'all like jelly beans? Am I the only one who likes jelly beans?
No, I mean, I'll eat them. It would not be my first pick at a candy store for sure.
Okay. I'm with John. Yeah.
What's your first pick at a candy store?
Something with chocolate and peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say a giant Reese's. Okay. So, yeah. Not like the regular ones. I'm talking like the thick ones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I really like the Oreo balls that they'll often have at candy places, where it's just like, it's like a chewed up Oreo dipped in chocolate. It's delicious.
Yeah.
It wants to be a cake pop candy so fan. Bad.
I think they were around before cake pops. I think cake pops are the imitators in that
then I guess they're the superior imitator.
They're good. They make peanut butter ones at a candy shop close to my work. I don't ever go. Actually, it's terrible. I love peanuts and peanut butter and nuts in general. And that's one of the things that is the worst right now. All nuts, especially peanuts, are just absolutely revolting to me right now. So cookies, nasty, just disgusting. Oreos, horrible. I didn't try Oreos specifically, but Miss Drew from church made her like that pudding chocolate Oreo thing, so good. And I couldn't even smell it. Just made me want to vomit just smelling it. All right. It's time for Roar Wars. Who wants to go first?
Wars. I'll go first this week.
All right, Drew. Blue milk or skim milk?
Blue milk. Skim milk is literally the most watered down thing you could drink that's not actually water. Blue milk has a flavor to it. It's a little floral, but I'll take that over watered down milk any day.
Okay. So you're using the Disney version of
Correct.
blue milk, not the original version.
I'll tell you what. I would have said blue milk in the past.
Hang on, John.
Until Luke milked the creature.
Not your turn yet, John. Not your turn yet. We can comment at the end. John, blue shadow virus or coronavirus?
Coronavirus.
Whoa, really? Okay.
Yeah, for sure. I got it. I'm okay. Things don't taste burnt. Or like trash. So
all right.
This video is now flagged on your podcast.
That's right.
The coronavirus has been mentioned.
We're gonna get a little text bubble by all of our download screens that says, click this link to see accurate information
That's
from
right.
the CDC about coronavirus.
CDC guidelines.
All right, Drew. Mon calamari or fried calamari?
Oh, I love food too much. I love fried calamari. It's crispy if it's done well. It's salty, savory, a little marinara sauce. It's perfect. I love that stuff. Mon calamari, they're a little silly. It's like they have an octopus for a mouth almost, like with all the tentacles. So I'll go with fried calamari.
Okay. All right. The Mon, well, we'll address it at the end. Okay, John, Boba Fett or Boba Tea?
Boba Fett. I know you're a big fan of Boba Tea, but yeah, Boba Fett's awesome. I don't know what else to say.
Okay. This is a tough one. I need to check my facts here. Let me do a quick fact check just to make sure I'm right.
I did hear there was a boba shortage, Boba Tea shortage. Is there a Boba Fett shortage as well?
I think we got plenty of Boba Fett coming up in the near future on Disney Plus. I don't think there's a Boba Fett shortage.
I don't know. I didn't want people to panic buy.
I mean, for $7 a month, you can get all the Boba Fett you want anytime you want. So
that's right. Boba Tea, not so much.
Boba Tea, if I could get all the Boba Tea I wanted for $7 a month, we'd be in trouble.
Great deal.
It's usually like $7 for one Boba Tea. I mean,
yeah, right.
Maybe 1.5 if you're lucky. Okay, Mon calamari. What do you think Mon calamari are, Drew? Tentacle mouths?
These guys?
That's who you're referring to?
Yeah, like they're tentacle stuff down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess I was thinking of those other guys that have like the really tentacly mouths. I thought that's who you were referencing. So
I don't even know what those guys are called. Squid face is that.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know who to award this one to. Why don't you like skim milk, Drew? I grew up
Why
with John.
do you
drink
like skim milk?
So I like skim milk with my cereal.
Okay.
But I don't want to just drink a glass of skim milk.
Yeah.
But I do like skim milk with my cereal because then the cereal flavors the milk. And
Gotcha.
I agree.
Okay.
Like if I was going to drink straight skim milk or straight whole milk, I'd go for the whole milk just because the consistency and flavor. But I don't think I will ever drink legit blue milk.
Well, there's no legit blue milk, right? It's
after seeing it milked.
See, Drew answered that one in the context of the Disney blue milk, though, which is basically just sugar water. So I think it's just sugary coconut milk
and
with
rice
milk, little flavor in it.
So
yeah, it's delicious.
Oh yeah,
between that and skim milk, I might go with. No, I think I'd still go with skim milk because we grew up on skim milk. I love skim milk. I used to drink skim milk like glass after glass after glass and bowl after bowl of. So I'd eat like 5 bowls of cereal in a row, and just cover it in skim milk. And you can do that when you couldn't do that with whole milk. you'd feel disgusting. But with skim milk, man, skim milk is almost like a negative. It's like just washes it down and makes room for more. It's wonderful.
It deceives your body. You're like, oh yeah, I can have another 2 or 3 bowls of Cinnamon Toast Crunch because there's no sugar in skim milk, so it sort of evens out,
Well, there's sugar in there's lactose. There's as much lactose in skim milk as there is in any other milk. The only thing they take out of skim milk is the fat. So I used to drink a lot of skim milk until I discovered that the process by which they make skim milk is kind of weird and questionable. So then I switched over to whole milk and was like, this is the more natural choice here, obviously. And then I found out that whole milk goes through basically the same process of skim milk. They make skim milk out of it, and then they add a very specific ratio of fat back into it. Isn't that weird?
Heavy whipping cream all the way, man.
And the only way to really get milk is to buy it illegally.
Or have a cow.
Yeah. I guess you can drink your own cows.
Yeah, we have a friend that got a cow for that reason.
Gotcha. Okay. They got a cow just so they could have raw milk?
Yeah, and they were scared the government was putting stuff in their milk, so.
Okay. All right. Maybe they were. It is suspicious. All those Got Milk campaigns, aren't they? Are they government sponsored campaigns?
Probably.
Oh.
Weird.
You know what? They're probably slipping coronavirus vaccine into all the milk.
In the milk. Yeah.
We're definitely flagged now.
They sneak fluoride in for years.
Oh, all right. I'm giving that one to John for his coronavirus answer. I actually thought you'd pick blue shadow virus.
No.
And you surprised me there. So,
blue shadow virus is terrible.
So is coronavirus. It's killed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And blue shadow virus is a pretend virus. It's not real.
And at least at the end of blue shadow virus, you could at least punch that silly doctor in the face.
But
the blue shadow virus.
One was weaponized and one wasn't.
Well, was it though? Isn't it a cartoon that we're watching? And are you sure coronavirus
Which one am I talking
wasn't
about?
Weaponized? Okay.
They want to know it if we put it in their milk.
Maybe milk is the means by which coronavirus was spread. And that's why vegans don't catch coronavirus.
And that's why you need to get your own cow.
All right. Let's talk about this arc. We have an email, but we'll do it at the end. Okay, so this arc, the Clovis Trilogy, 3 episodes. We start out with Padme going and meeting with the bankers, negotiating some kind of loan or something, and Clovis walks in the room as a negotiator. Drew, remind us about our history with Clovis.
So Clovis, if we remember, was with the Galactic Senate, but he betrayed them when he was, he made some sort of agreement with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, and he was working with the Genosians to build a droid on not a droid factory on their planet. And then, he got found out by Padme and Anakin, and so sort of got disowned there.
Right. All right. So Clovis walks in. Padme obviously doesn't trust him. Has had a history she's had a romantic relationship with Clovis at some point in the past. And I do remember in the last arc, there was some tension between him and Anakin as a result of that. More specifically between Anakin and Padme as a result of that. Clovis, though, goes and finds Padme after the fact and reveals to her that the bank is actually out of money and they're just pretending like they're stable when they're not. So he takes her away from where she's staying, close to, where in the banker's facilities or wherever it is that she's supposed to spend the night. He takes her up into the snowy mountains to his own private residence, and she spends the night there. Nothing happens. as far as we know. But she spends the night. No, nothing happens. She spends the night there, and then the next day they basically go and work together to uncover that fact. But then they get arrested, and the evidence of the deception gets put on a USB stick, and Clovis ends up with it in his possession, but Padme ends up being thrown into prison. Anakin goes a few days later and comes and picks up Padme. Padme doesn't have any evidence of the banking deception, but she's basically like, "Hey, let's go over to Clovis's house and pick up this information so that we can expose this deception, this corruption that's been happening, this problem that we have in the banking industry." And Anakin gets upset because Padme has been spending time with Clovis and he didn't know about it. But he gives in. They go and visit Clovis's house. While they're there, they get attacked by the bounty hunter Imbo, who we have seen before. He's the guy with a shield hat, and they end up having to. So he knocks out one of their ship's engines, and they sled down a snowy hill on their in their ship, and then he chases after him and skates down on his shield. And it's kind of a cool little scene, but they get away, and ends up that Clovis and Padme and Anakin are all flying away together, heading back to Coruscant. Palpatine actually gets on the phone with Imbo at the end of that and is like, "Hey, our mission was successful. I'll take care of it from here." So anyway, Clovis comes back and he is being treated as a traitor, the traitor that he is. He is a traitor to the Republic. But he says, "Hey, look, I know I've got this past, but my objective right now is to expose the bank. I'm not trying to do anything else. I just want to expose the corruption at the bank here, because that's a problem for everybody. That's a problem for the Separatists. It's a problem for the Republic." And Anakin basically demands that Padme not work with him on doing this. But she does anyway. So he goes and tells Palpatine about it. And Palpatine basically gives his blessing to pursuing this and trying to figure out a way to expose what's going on. Anakin walks in on Padme and Clovis working together, and Padme has a really nice dress on and her makeup's all done up, and Clovis is going in for a kiss, and he loses it. He doesn't lose it like he's lost it in the past and go all Dark Jedi, but he's angry and gets into a fist fight with the guy. The guy's like, "Hey, don't use your force powers." And Anakin says, "Okay." And so they get into a fist fight instead of a force fight, but Anakin ends up using the force anyway against him. At the end of it, Padme's really mad, and she says that her and Anakin need a break. So Anakin's obviously pretty upset. But then at the end, Clovis ends up being appointed by mutual agreement of both the Separatists and the Republic to run the bank. Dooku and Palpatine are actually the ones behind this, though. So when the bankers also give their blessing and put Clovis in charge, Dooku gets on the hologram with Clovis and says, "Hey, we're going to raise the rates on the Republic." And while Clovis resists for a minute, eventually he basically is forced to give in. Because it's Dooku. You can't, if you defy Dooku, you're going to get killed. So the Republic, the Separatists then send an invasion. So Clovis announces this while Padme is there on the banking planet, announces it to Padme. Padme sends off a message. The Separatist ships come in. Padme's trapped. So the Republic sends in their forces, and there's a big space battle between the clones and the droids. Anakin comes in and is trying to find Padme to save her. He finds her, but she's with Clovis. I don't remember exactly how it all goes down, but at some point, Clovis is basically holding Padme hostage and saying, "Hey, don't kill me. It's not my fault. It's Dooku's fault. He tricked us all. He's the one behind all this." And an explosion goes off. Anakin ends up with Padme in one hand and Clovis in the other hand, and they are dangling over a long drop where they would fall to their death should he let them go. He can't hold them both. He's trying to save them both, but he can't hold them both. And Clovis willingly releases his hand and falls to his death so that Anakin can save Padme. Well, this all ends with the banking clan basically deciding that Palpatine ought to be in control of the banks. And that apparently was Palpatine's intention all along. He has now added a new element of power to his plot. John, how intrigued were you behind this banking corruption?
Not super intrigued.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about the relationship between Padme and Anakin and what we saw with it?
So that Anakin getting angry was my favorite part.
All right.
Just because, like seeing him get kind of irrational and act out of anger, just because that's what ultimately leads to the rest of the saga, right? So, yeah.
Okay. Drew, what was your favorite part of this arc?
Oh gosh.
Was there anything that stood out and that was the moment? That's really what I liked the best this time.
Yeah. It's in depth. I don't know if I want to hit it. I mean, right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So on Disney Plus, the making of The Mandalorian, that I promise this is going somewhere. The making of The Mandalorian. Right. I think it's episode 2. John Filoni does this amazing.
Dave Filoni.
I'm sorry, Dave Filoni. Thank you.
Yeah.
Does this. I'm looking at John's name. Dave Filoni does this amazing synopsis of how episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all tied together. And I had watched that just before I had seen this episode. And one of the things that Dave Filoni said was how Qui-Gon Jinn was the father figure that Anakin needed for stability. And that's why it was such a huge deal when Darth Maul actually killed Qui-Gon Jinn, because he lost that father figure that he needed, and he lost his mother, and he was left with Obi-Wan, which was a little bit more of a brother type figure, less of a father, more of just a brother.
Okay.
And when that moment came, when Obi-Wan confronted Anakin in this arc, and, he tried to have that awkward, I know something's going on with you and Padme. I don't know what. I mean, nothing was explicitly stated, but he made it very clear that I know there's something going on here. I used to have feelings too, and by him sort of sharing that, it's implied that, yeah, I know you have feelings for her. And then just knowing what we know about what happens, that to me was just such a cool scene, because after hearing Dave Filoni talk about it and then seeing this part of the arc and just how it all ties in, I just thought it was very, very well crafted.
Okay, cool. I'll tell you, when that scene happened, and I didn't mention that in the synopsis, but basically Obi-Wan, do you remember when that happens? He says something about what Yoda wanted or what Yoda said, and then Anakin is angry about it. And that's where anyway, him comparing what Anakin feels about the situation to what he felt about Satine, actually, to me, the thing that popped into my mind was one of the things you're not really supposed to do when you're trying to empathize with somebody. And John, you may disagree with this in your interrogation techniques, but one of the things you're not really supposed to do when you're actually really trying to, to hear somebody out or help somebody or whatever, is to basically say, I know how you feel, right? Because that is very likely not true. Your situation that you've dealt with isn't the same as another person's situation. Your grief or your struggle isn't the same as another person's struggle. And so while there's maybe a way to relate, you don't comfort someone by telling them that you know how they feel. At least that's what I've heard. And I think it makes sense to me. And with this, while Obi-Wan obviously knows that Anakin has feelings for Padme, he has no idea of the extent of it. They're married. This is different. This isn't him and Satine. Satine was just the woman that he slept with and spent a little time with and developed some infatuation with. this is the person that Anakin has decided to make the most important person in his life, and has actually gotten married to her, and has a much, much deeper relationship with her than I think Obi-Wan ever had with Satine, at least as far as we know. And so that was my feeling. It was like, yeah, he's relating that, but that's falling on deaf ears, because Anakin knows a little bit about Obi-Wan's relationship with Satine and can look at himself and say, nah, this is not like you and Satine. The way I feel about Padme is very different from that.
Yeah. And he's real buddy, like, with Obi-Wan. Whereas, if he maybe had that stricter father figure to sort of knock him back in line, who knows what could have been. So,
yeah. John, any thoughts on that, John?
No, but I definitely think Obi-Wan's always known something's going on. And again, he doesn't take those steps that he should have, but it's almost, and I read something recently, like Obi-Wan really probably felt like he is the one that failed Anakin, right? That once Anakin turns to the dark side, it's basically Obi-Wan's fault, because there were multiple times where he should have taken that stance and didn't, right. Where he could have saved him particularly from it. Of more of the
like the
master,
the
master, right. The father,
sure.
No, we're going to stop this right now, type of thing,
right?
And this is why. Before it got to the point of marriage, or
sure.
And I saw something that basically when Anakin dies, becomes Vader, right? That is when Obi-Wan Kenobi dies and becomes Old Ben. Because he is now he's failed. He's a washed up, old, failed master.
Right.
And he's Old Ben, this crazy old hermit now. Until later when he sees Luke, he has a change of heart. But I don't know.
Cool. Well, we'll find out how true that is in the near future.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
When the Disney Plus Obi-Wan series comes out. There are a few things in my life that I'm more excited about than the Obi-Wan Disney Plus series.
Absolutely.
Just like a dream come true. Like if I were to imagine like what, if we at some point do a series where we try to pitch the next TV, TV series, live action TV Star Wars thing that, or maybe not live action Star Wars thing that Disney Plus should put on, related to Star Wars, kind of like we did with the movies back on episode 8. If this wasn't it, this is it. I mean, this is what I would want. This is what I want Disney to do, is to tell me more about what happened to Obi-Wan on Tatooine and all the time in between episode 3 and episode 4. So super pumped about that. And I think we are going to find out more about Obi-Wan during Rebels as well. So if we transition over to Rebels, which I hope we will, then I believe we're going to find out about Obi-Wan there. Because I'm pretty sure Obi-Wan is a part of that. And I've seen a scene or two that I wish I had from Rebels that definitely give an indication that we're going to find out some more about Obi-Wan in that series. I don't have a ton to say about this arc, to be honest. It was very unnecessary, I would say. Even though there were a few moments that was like, oh, okay, here's Anakin getting angry again. Here's Anakin's passion for Padme again. Here's, the jealousy that Anakin has toward Padme again. Here's the marital turmoil again. It was all again. Nothing was new. It was just, we've seen all this before in a different format. Really, the only significant thing about this arc, plot wise, is Palpatine now controls the banks. That's also very unimportant, because whether he controls the banks or not, his plot's going to go fine, So it kind of demonstrates that Palpatine is getting more and more power, and you can tell he's kind of on the verge of being able to really, pull the final strings, but nothing of consequence really happened in this arc. That said, no, I didn't have anything negative really to say about it. There was nothing I was like, oh, I hated that. You know, it was just sort of, I enjoyed watching it. I didn't love watching it, but felt very unnecessary, but not painful, I guess I would say.
I thought it was beneficial how they did give a little background information on the banking claim. That's something that has come up in the past. And, you know, really, you all know my history with Star Wars. It's pretty much the movies and what we've got with the Clone Wars. And so hearing that, I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about that. So it was a little enjoyable for me to actually, oh, well, this is what it looks like, you know, actually get a visual of what it and how it sort of works. So I did enjoy that aspect of a little bit of it.
Okay. Where has the banking claim come up in the past? Is that in the movies, or is it in some of the other episodes we've watched? I don't really remember.
I know it's been referenced before.
Okay.
But I'd have to go back and research exactly where.
Wasn't very impressed with the banking clan either. They were just I guess it was a new race that we haven't seen before, but it wasn't a very interesting race. Just kind of these long-faced aliens. But anyway, John, anything else to say?
No, I kind of agree. It wasn't painful, but I was glad it was over.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't have to watch a fourth episode.
Yeah.
Because we've been doing a lot of 4 episodes arcs.
Right.
This one would have been fine as 2.
It was, nothing really new explored for me that had any real significance. So
give it a ranking.
A 6.
Okay. Drew?
I'm going with the 7.
All right. 6 for me.
I did like the Embo chase too. So.
Oh yeah, the Embo chase was pretty cool. It gave me some James Bond vibes. Skating down a snowy hill, shooting guns at each other. I feel like James Bond does that every other movie. You know, he probably only did it once, but it's one of those things that obviously we're gonna get on our skis and shoot guns at each other.
Right.
And I like that. I liked that too. Any of those cheesy action things I really like. So, So 676. Let's go to our emails. This email comes from Tyler Boyd. Order 66. We all know about Order 66, but what about orders 1 through 65? What do you think some of those orders were, John?
So one of them would have to be probably like pick up, I don't know, a coffee for Palpatine or something.
Okay.
Like, execute order 2. And he's like, excuse me, sir. He's like, do it.
He brings him a Mountain Dew instead.
Right away. Yeah.
Gets shot. Gets force choked.
Right.
Into oblivion. Drew, can you think of an order 1 through 65?
That is such a great question. Truly, that has never crossed my mind until this exact moment.
It's such a random number. Just Order 66. What?
Man.
Do you think he executed those other orders? Or do you think he was ever like, execute Order 4?
or what if they're different? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe there were other things they were programmed for.
Like normal things?
Yeah, like what if he was like, execute Order 65 on accident, and they all started like cleaning? It's like, no.
Cleaning zombie.
Yeah. Or YMCA starts blaring over every speaker in the galaxy, and they all just, young man.
He had a whole list of things. 66.
Execute order.
Or what if it's like a program, like all the executions failed until they got to 66? They're like, oh, this one actually works.
Right.
I could see, the scene where they're walking up behind Yoda?
Yeah. And Yoda feels them coming and takes care of them.
Yeah. So I could see that happening with Order 64, like the YMCA. And then Yoda just slashes them.
Here's Tyler's ideas. Order number 1. Do not talk about order number 1. Order number 17. Go to Galaxy's Edge and purchase a Wookiee cookie. Deliver it to Palpatine. Similar to your coffee idea there, John. Order number 22. Make sure Han shoots first. Order number 36. Take turns prank calling Darth Maul. It will drive him crazy. Order number 57. Remove all investments from Alderaan-based businesses. And that's all he had. He just said, what else do you have? So, interesting question.
I wonder
if there's any official lore. There's got to be official lore about
there probably is.
So maybe we'll find out.
No.
All right. That's all I got for this week. Anything else you guys want to mention before we go? Let's talk about what we're going to watch for next time. I'm not going to say next week. Maybe it will be. Maybe it won't be. I'll be in Key West, but I could probably still record. So not Key West. I'll be in the Keys. We're staying in Marathon.
Everybody else
Key.
is eating key lime pie.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you'll be eating raisins,
go do a podcast.
doing your podcast.
So you'll be partying in Key West. So the next time we meet, we'll be doing the Disappeared Duology, episode 608 and 609. The Disappeared and the Disappeared Part 2.
Okay. Great. 2 episodes. Be a little bit of a light load for us. And when is the book? How many weeks away or how many episodes away are we from the book?
From the
comic?
Let's see. There are 3 sections, 3 arcs between
3
now
arcs in between us and the part 1 of the book?
Yes.
Now,
so
aren't there story reels?
If you include, the story reels.
Okay.
And then the Bad Batch story reels, but I think those are actually episodes now in season 7.
So okay. We'll have to look that up and make sure, because there's no reason to watch the story reels if they've been made into episodes.
Right. And then after that point, is it safe? I'm asking, is it safe then to start watching Bad Batch or no? Do we know that yet? Because I've not done any research at all.
Yeah, I don't know, and I don't want to get spoiled. Right. I actually got a text from Tyler, and he said, "Have you seen Bad Batch yet?" And I was like, "No, I haven't seen it yet. We haven't even finished watching the Clone Wars." And he said, "Well, don't watch Bad Batch until you're done with the Clone Wars." So we might just take his advice on that and just wait until we're done. But we will make sure, if it is, I don't know if maybe the story reels are just an introduction thing that kind of go before it, but we'll figure it out before we decide to skip it or whatever. So, because who knows if it even fits chronologically in the same place anymore. They could have changed some fundamental elements of it to make it take place later or whatever, brought in elements from those into the new one. So I think those are still considered canon, but do a little research and we'll figure it out by the time we get there, decide whether or not we need to skip it.
Cool.
I'm still interested is that the only story reels week that we would have had?
The Crystal Crisis on Utapu story reels, and then the Bad Batch story reels, and then the Dark Disciple.
Gotcha.
And the Dathomir comic. Dark Disciple.
So we still have the other that first batch of story reels that we would need to do. So
right, yeah. So that should be possibly the only story reel we'll have.
Okay. All right. Cool. Listeners, if you want to email us, you can send an email to StarWarsBrothersPodcast@gmail.com, or I think you can send it to the Star Wars Brothers Podcast @gmail.com as well, and it'll forward it. And thanks for listening.